trying to lead to in that, just within the Making Ends Meet and the different areas and different artists and groups, you know, territories came together to create. Like, I acknowledge that there was, you know, a handful of people that were on their game within, you know, the 40 to 50 different artists and groups of people that we worked with. And you was on your game, bro, from day one all the way through. And creatively, I know that you brought a lot to the table as well, and you're currently doing stuff. You mentioned that you come from a musical household. So where I want to take this is just to go back. You mentioned Hackney, East London at least, you know, where you come from. So what was life like in London coming up? I'm doing my Vlad in it, I'm doing my Vlad stuff. So let's go back. Okay. And let's just start off where you come. What was life like before we get to Healthy Mind, Healthy Grind and the website and all that type of stuff again?
Cool. Well, boy, you know, growing up as a young man, I moved to Hackney when I was maybe like 6 years old. You know, living with my dad's single parent life household. So it's just me, my dad, and my brother. You know, and you know, and yeah, man, it wasn't easy. You know, it wasn't a rich household. Do you understand? And in Hackney, anyway, you know, my part of the family was the part of the family that only lived in Hackney. You know, we didn't really have. Well, we had a few here and there, but most of my family are from Plaistow and Stratford and different areas in East London. So my family in Hackney was pretty small. You understand what I'm saying? So it was just me and my brother, really. You know, out there. My dad's a musician, so his lifestyles, you know, wasn't the typical 9 to 5 lifestyle. You understand what I'm trying to say? And yeah, man. So you know, sometimes he'll be on tour. You understand what I'm saying? You know, he's a musician, so you know he'll be away for a few weeks and a few weeks at a time, etc., etc. And you know, we had to kind of just do our own thing. Me and my brother had to kind of figure it out. It's not like he just left us in the house. My nan lived around the corner, so you know we still had support. But growing up as young boys, we kind of just had to try and figure it out. You know, if there weren't that much food in the fridge, you know, you maybe use a bit of water, sugar water, cornflakes to make our cereal before school. And by the age of like 8, 9, I was, you know, taking myself to school and that. You know, I'd jump on a bus, etc., you know, and get myself to school or ride my bike or whatever I had to do. So it was just the good old days, man. You know, days where you can hang out on the street until a bit late, you know, play out with your friends, play run-outs, stuff like that. You know, I used to go to the locals, you know, because where I lived, I didn't live in an estate, I lived on the road. So the estate was down the road, so we used to go to the local estates, you know, fuck about on the streets, you know, hang out for some of our friends. We were at school with some of our friends, you know, the typical childhood. You know, getting into a little bit of squabbles here and there, getting chased by drunk people, you know, crazy shit. You know what I mean? Fist fights, you know how it go, you understand? So that was our childhood, man, you know, until we got into like the teenage years and, you know, started going to, you know, secondary school and stuff like that and interacting with other kids from the neighbourhood and different areas across London, you know?
Okay. Thank you for sharing, bro. So, when we first met, I connected with you. You was based in a particular part of, you know, Hackney, the Hackney area. Although I know you weren't directly affiliated with some of the other groups and, you know, people that I was there working with. At the same time, there was a particular lifestyle, whether you was affiliated, gang affiliated, postcode repping, whatever that type of. There's a certain lifestyle that, you know, we all lived, that I came through, you came through, and you know, the fact that we connected on Making Ends Meet, and you know the theme and what that was about, and you know you're moving off the back of that, I'm moving off the back of those models of just, you know, trying to come together.
Yeah.
Why I'm saying that to say we're trying to come together now. What did you experience, or what was you experiencing coming up? You know, that lifestyle where you feel there's a need for us to come together. You know, what was going? Where was the breakdown? You know,
I felt like growing up, especially in my community. You know, it was a very dense community with predominantly black, African and Caribbean households. You understand what I'm saying? And I felt like when I was young, I always was made to feel, in a sense, we had a community in my neighborhood, but there wasn't a form of how can I say? Not many people got together in that aspects to make something happen. Do you understand? So there will be other ethnic minorities or other races of people that were doing certain things and they owned certain things, and I felt like I didn't really see our people doing that. Do you understand? And as much as I did the other communities in London, and that to me was something that kind of put a little bit of pressure on me, because it was like, boy, like, how comes we ain't doing this shit? You know, how comes these guys are doing that and we ain't doing that? But at the same time, we're quick to fight each other, or if we see each other on the bus, what are you looking at, bro? What are you looking at, fam? You know, it was very aggressive, and everybody had a lot of testosterone and a lot of energy, negative energy, but it was, you know, no one was really looking to put any positive energy into anything to make something beneficial for the long term. You know, that's how I felt growing up, and it was like to each his own. You know, so whether you hanged in a crew of people, whether you had a few friends, blah, 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 it was like, boy, we got to just get ours and just keep ours like this. And we got to do whatever we got to do to make money and just keep it amongst either yourself or just you and your boy. There wasn't no, let's link up with these lot and build and that. There wasn't that, you know, no one got along. You understand what I'm saying? There was a situation where, like, people they'll claim this neighborhood or they claim that neighborhood, and that's what it was. You understand what I'm saying? And I felt, me personally, I didn't want to get tied down to any neighborhood. You know, even though I knew people from different neighborhoods, I was thinking, nah, I'm going to keep myself, not to myself, because I knew everybody and I done my thing, but it was more like, I want to do something different and bring something different to the table. And I feel like that's what music done for me. You understand that? That music done that for me. It made me not be in the street 24/7 and have that negative mindset. I'm not saying people on the street have negative mindset, not everybody does, but I'm saying when you're in certain environments, especially when you're around a certain age, teenagers and early 20s, and you know, you have that feeling about where you have to kind of really be out there and watch what you're doing, and you know, be on your P's and Q's, and you want to make money, you want to do this, that, and the third. You ain't really got that idea of community. You don't have that sense. You understand what I'm saying? It's more about getting what you want to get, you know. And the whole, for me, music kind of helped me a lot, you know. Music helped me a lot, man, because I don't know what I'd be doing if I weren't doing music. You know, most of my hours out of the day would probably be spent doing fucking crazy shit. You understand what I'm saying? So music helped me a lot. Being in the studio, making music and stuff, kept me away to certain aspects. You get what I'm trying to say, Springer? You know, getting too caught up.
In too deep.
In too deep. That's, there you go. You know.
All right. So obviously there was a lot going on, lots of things happening, loads of distractions. You
100%.
know, the drive for money, in it, to make money. I know what the Rose is about. You got to get that P in it.
Yeah.
So, you know, but what I've realized, a lot of that is based on, you know, imagery, you
egos,
all of that type of stuff. And, you know, even just down to why I'm doing this, because there's a particular image that people would expect to see doing certain things. And then when they maybe see people like yourself, myself, and others that I know are doing what we're doing, we're like the unexpected. So that's like to say, you're talking healthy mind, healthy grind. You're coming from a particular place where there wasn't healthy mind, healthy grind. You know what I'm saying? Predominantly, because I know about that. But you've been inspired to, you know, to not be distracted by them, you know, by the music. But what other influences? What other, you know, symbols, imagery, you know, people, whatever it is, gave you another image? Because obviously you didn't want to live up to the image of, like, basically just killing it on the roads, being a man on the roads, and because that's a particular image that's portrayed. So you didn't want to take that image. Obviously you've listened to yourself, as you said, you've got music as a way of keeping you off the streets. But, you know, what's motivating you? What was motivating you? I
think knowing that there was another side of life, knowing that being in Hackney, living day to day, you know, maybe going from Upper Clapton, Lower Clapton, wherever fields, wherever the case may be, that our local area, I knew there was more to life than just being here, you know. And I only knew that because of my dad. My dad's a musician, and sometimes I'll go with him to different places. He'll take me and say, Mars, come, we're gonna go here, and that I'll end up, I don't know, for example, backstage at Budju Banton, you know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying? And I'm like, rah, I'm backstage. I'm in Brighton somewhere, backstage. Budge was on stage. I'm like, rah. You understand what I'm trying to say? This is earlier when I was like young. And my pops kind of being around his people, even though they grew up in the neighborhood as well, but they were musicians, so they managed to, for some reason, get themselves out of the street shit, even though they was around street shit. My uncle's, into the streets, and all these pairs are into the streets, but through the music, my pops it was like a fucking tunnel. You know what I mean? It's like a what's the thing? What's that program, man?
Prison break.
Nah, not even prison break. It's like you step into it, you go into it, but you're going into a new dimension.
Oh, jeez.
You understand what I'm saying?
I know about that. I don't know what show you're talking about.
There's a show, man. I can't remember. But anyway, brother. But yeah, so cut a long story short, it was like a window. You understand that? When I went with him and met with his different people, and the people that he hangs around, and the elders and people that are in the music game, I'm like, wow, they live in a different life. They're talking about going Barbados, they're talking about doing this, doing that. They went here the other day and it was doing this with their children, and I'm hearing a conversation, I'm seeing the way they're looking, their tan skin, and I'm thinking, well, these guys they're living life. But then I'll come back to the neighborhood, but the conversation's different.
Right.
So I knew that there's another life out here. I don't need to just be living here for the rest of my life. You understand what I'm trying to say? So I thought to myself, how can I pursue, how can I get, and how does it work? And for years, it took me years for me to realize, how am I gonna mentally work myself and get myself to a place where I can live a life like how them guys were living. And they don't have to hear the isms and schisms, what's going on in the neighborhood, who's doing what, this person got shot, or that. They're not hearing these stories, because they're living. They might walk the same path of the street as us, but their conversations and their life, the things that they're seeing is just totally different to what we're seeing. So how do I get there? You understand what I'm saying? And it took me a long time to work that shit out.
So what I'm getting from that is that basically, one, I know what it's like to be kind of hood-bound in it when all you've seen is the neighborhood, the area that you grew up in, and obviously that's primarily where you start. Everybody starts in their hood, wherever their hood is, whether it's London or Hollywood, wherever you're born, it's that household, innit? And then you start working your way out, and it's how far do you get out? In permaculture, we call it zoning. You're at zone 0. That's your house, and you've got zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, and it's like most of us are in zone 0, which is the place to be, but when it's set up in a way where it doesn't serve you well, and it creates an unhealthy mind, an unhealthy grind, it can fuck you over basically. So with that said, I realised that there might be a reason why they get people in that hood mentality, and why that's pushed out there.
There's definitely a reason.
Yeah, go on, give me some of that.
There's definitely a reason, man, because I personally feel like for years, we're going back years and years ago, we've, it's common knowledge for those that might not know, but us as black people, we've been made to feel that, we're lazy, we can't do certain things, we're not capable of certain things, because we're black, we shouldn't be looked upon the same as, say, a white guy, for example, or whatever the case may be. I don't want to go into it, but all of these things cause a certain unhealthy mindset amongst our community, especially if you're a black man. You understand? So you start to think, boy, I'm not accepted in normal society. I'm not accepted. You understand what I'm saying? So if you don't feel accepted, then you're going to just do everything that's against the grain. Facts. You're just going to be like, you know what, I don't want to go and get a job, or I don't want to go here, because even when I do try and do this, they make me feel uncomfortable when I'm here. Yeah? Or if I do go to this place, I feel like I shouldn't be here. I'm not accepted because of the way I look, or the area that I'm from, or blah, blah, blah. So you start to think to yourself, you know what, you start to build self-doubt, you start to have self-doubt, insecurities, low confidence, low self-esteem. But we will never show anyone that, because at the same time, we want to look like the fly boys. Yeah, we want to look like we are confident. We want to look like we know what we're doing. Yeah, to the girls, to other men that's around us, we want to look like, nah, man. But really in our chest, it's like a glass ceiling. We think, boy, we're not really accepted in this type of world. And it's been programmed in our minds for years, hundreds of years since slavery. Yeah, and that's what it is. And that's the only way I can really explain it. And it's like, how do we break that psychology? We can't wait for anyone else to break it for us. We've got to do it ourselves. Sometimes it takes experiences, like in my case, I used to see my pops going to other places and, you know, meeting with other people that ain't the day-to-day people that I was seeing when I was growing up, and understanding, wow, you know, there's a different life out here. You know, someone else, it might be something else. But until we understand that, you know, and get our own, get confidence and realize, you know what, I don't give a shit. I am who I am, and I know I'm a talented man, and I've got the confidence to do what I don't care what other people say. I can do this, yeah? Until you get that confidence and realize to yourself that, you know what, I ain't watching no one. I'm going to focus on my thing and go for it. You understand what I'm saying?